Hello, my powerful one. Lenka Lutonska here, of course, author of Energetic Selling and Marketing and Limitless Millionaire Mentor for change makers of this world. And my dear one, if you before, maybe on more occasion than one, said to yourself, I'd really love that, but I cannot afford it, we're going to change it today. Yes, I'm going to take you through how to break this, I'll say it as it is, horrible energetic pattern and open yourself up to so much more success and abundance that you deserve. Yes, I lived through this pattern. I know what it is like when you so want and you can't afford it. But believe me when I say it's a pattern, it's a mindset. It's not real. I know it shows up as reality in your world. I know when I had to my name, sometimes I had to consider 20 or 30 pounds, each 20 or 30 pounds, can I really do this? So if there is no money, it can show up as reality, but it's caused by the mindset. It's the mindset, it's the belief that matters, materializes. It's not real. It's physical imprisonment made out of beliefs that you hold about yourself. So I think this is one of the major and really most common patterns that keep us the prisoners of our ego mind identity and keep us from achieving and manifesting all those dreams and abundance and creating impact that we are here for. So it's absolutely crucial. So that's actually number one thing you might want to really remind yourself, that this is not real, it's a mindset. And I will tell you why it's not real, okay? This is going to be a drastic example, but it will put that point deep into you. Imagine if you have a child and someone kidnaps your child. It's a horrible example, I know. But imagine that they call and they will tell you that you need to put together ransom for your child, I don't know, $50,000 until tomorrow. Would you find a way? What would you do to find that 50,000, to create that $50,000? Absolutely everything, and you would find the way. You would find a way. There wouldn't be, oh, but I can't afford it. So I want it, but I can't afford it. It wouldn't be there, you see? So I know this is quite drastic and horrible example, but this just drives the point that is actually number one point you need to drive for yourself. If you've been caught up in a series of events where you felt like you desire something, you want to make a move or whatever it might be, but you quote unquote cannot afford it, it's energetics, it's your belief system, is not reality, okay? Now, also a little disclaimer before I'll take you through the how to break this pattern is that I'm doing this primarily for my dear potential clients who are considering one of my programs and are on the verge of committing to energetic mastery for limitless success. So sometimes this happens that my clients or potential clients are called into what I call embodiment containers, my programs for energetic mastery, but their mind will say, yes, but I cannot afford it. And again, so I'm doing it for that purpose, but this is applicable to pretty much anything that you will tell yourself, I want it, but I cannot afford it. You've got to break your pattern. This is how you open yourself up to so much more of you, more abundance, more success, and more creativity, more power, more of everything, more of you. So anyway, the first and foremost, what you need to do to break this pattern, if you like, the first step, is that you, instead of being caught up in I want to, but I cannot afford it, you want to make a powerful decision. And let me break this down. Consider this space, I want to, but I cannot afford it. What place is that? That's a really powerless place. When it's like you called in both directions. You say your heart, your soul is calling you somewhere, and but immediately, but I cannot afford it. You making yourself powerless. So this is where you're putting yourself nor here and there, and there is no movement in energy whatsoever. They cannot be from this place progress and growth whatsoever. So you're making yourself, if I can say it blatantly, a victim of your life, victim of your business, victim of your world, and that's not desirable. So you need to move yourself consciously from I want to but I can't afford it to first making a powerful yes or no decision. Both decisions, yes or no, are a million times more powerful than I want to but I can't afford it. So here is how to make that powerful decision, okay? So rather than being that in between. So first and foremost, you want to consider whatever it is that you want, but you feel you can't afford it. You ask yourself, is this authentic desire? Meaning, is this truly for me? Because sometimes we want to do things just because other people are doing it, or we want to please our loved ones or our parents, but it's not it's not authentic. It doesn't come from self. I'll give you an example. For the longest time, some years back, I wanted to buy a Chanel bag. And I actually was telling myself at some point that, but I cannot afford it. Which again, at some point I realized that that's just a mental trap I'm creating for myself. So I put together, at the time, I think it was worth around £10,000. So I put together £10,000 with intention to go and buy a Chanel bag, because I deserve it. And I didn't want to have this neglected desire, if you like, and be in this energy. I want to, but I can't afford it. I'm walking into the Chanel store and I'm being served. So I touch these bags, I look at these bags and nothing. As in, I didn't have that wow, or I desire this bag, none of it. So I realized there and then, okay, so this was not authentic desire at all. It was essentially, I wanted a Chanel bag because everyone on Instagram has it, so to speak. That was more of a chasing my little inner child, wanting to belong or something like that. I said, no, I don't want Chanel bag. I actually don't desire it. So I walked away from Chanel store, and I did get myself some other beautiful things that I genuinely did want. But this is what I mean about the authentic desire. Is it truly my desire? Am I being called? Is it expanding my heart? Or is it maybe somebody else's desire, so to speak, okay? So that's important, and it will be yes or no. If it's a no, you might as well tell yourself, no, I choose, I don't want this. It's not my desire. So that's number one consideration, to turn that I want it but I can't afford it into powerful yes or no decision. And then if it's a yes, it's authentic desire, it's calling me, it's expanding my heart, then you're going to make the decision really, really powerful. So you're going to ask yourself a few more questions here you consider. So the second question you're going to ask yourself is, what will happen if I don't go for it, if I decide no at some point? Because it's important to make a powerful decision, you see, because when the decision is made, the way shows up, full stop. Their solution will show up, and we'll get to it later. But you'll want to make whatever it is a powerful yes or no decision. So that which is calling you, ask yourself, well, what are consequences of not doing it? What will happen if I don't do it? And what is the cost of not doing it? Because you see, sometimes we think that if we say to ourselves, I want it, but I can't afford it, then it's finishing there. It's kind of done. I'm just, maybe not moving ahead, but it's done. But each of our decisions has got consequences. Each of them, in fact, with each of our decisions, we are creating a future configurations of the universe, a new configuration of the universe, new versions of ourselves. So it's important to realize what is actually the consequence of that when I don't do it, so it can carry some cost. So for instance, I know that for me, when I was considering at that time, when I truly felt like I couldn't afford it, and I considered stepping into a private mentorship and paying essentially a lot of money that I felt I didn't have. So when I've considered, okay, but what will happen if I don't do it? What's the cost of it? What are the consequences of it? Because human psychology is superbly clever. It will make us think like it's okay. It's, we're settling ourselves. You see, we're settling. So I actually sat down and I wrote, what will happen if I don't do something? Like I keep being, I was stuck in this rut of I want to, but I can't afford it for solid 2 years. Solid 2 years. I kind of knew what investments I would want to make into my business. I knew I wanted to be coached in the most powerful way, of course. I knew I wanted to learn. I knew it. But for 2 solid years, I was telling myself, I have no money. I can't afford it. So I sat down and asked myself, okay, now I'm being called to such and such coach. I'm going to actually write down what are the consequences of not doing it. What are the consequences of staying on this path? And let me tell you, when I wrote that down, it was rather ugly because I didn't like where I was and I didn't like how small I was making myself in comparison to who I was meant to be. I just didn't like it. So, and when I put it down and what is the cost to continue like this, it was, to me, it was huge cost that actually put that mental weight between the discomfort of changing and discomfort of saying truly yes and making that powerful decision, put it in the right balance, you see. So yes, consider what will happen if I don't do it. What is the cost or consequences of this? Sometimes there is no cost and that's okay, but you want to consider it. Number 3 question you're going to ask yourself, what are the consequences of doing this? So if I go for it and make non-negotiable decision, what are the consequences? What can I gain? What will I learn? That type of stuff. So I know, for instance, inside of my programs, it's all about energetic mastery. It's all about self-empowerment, knowing how to work with the most powerful currency on the planet, energy. So how will it help you? How will it help you in your business, in your, I don't know, visibility, in your life? Make a list for yourself. What is it that you want to gain out of this? So again, this is what I did back then. I wrote down, for me, what will happen if I do it, or what are the consequences of doing it, or saying absolutely yes. So again, you will bring up into your awareness all that. Why is it calling you? Because if it's something calling you, like I desire this, I genuinely, authentically desire it, and it's calling you, it's actually your spirit, your soul's nudging you, come through these doors, there's something for you. But this will help you to put into your conscious awareness what it might be, okay? And lastly, last question you ask here to make the powerful decision is this worth getting uncomfortable for? Is this worth getting uncomfortable for? So essentially, is my desire the reason I'm being called forth? Am I willing to get uncomfortable for it? And it's a very important question to ask ourselves, because I'll say it as it is, many otherwise really powerful change makers are just want to be comfortable. And as we know, nothing can grow out of soil of comfort. Nothing. Comfort is deadly. So there is going to be some level of discomfort, whether it is working out actually the way to pay, breaking further limiting energetic patterns, whatever it might be. But this is where you've got to ask yourself, am I willing to get uncomfortable for this? So I'll repeat these questions, 1, 2, 3, 4, that will help you to make powerful yes or no decision. Either of them is okay. And if it's a yes, make it non-negotiable and powerful. So, is this an authentic desire of mine? That's number 1. Number 2, what will happen if I don't do it? So what are the consequences and potential cost of not doing this over a period of, say, year, 2, 3 years, etc. Number 3, what will happen if I do it? So what are the consequences and potential gains of doing this over 1, 2, or 3 years, etc. And number 4, is this, or am I willing to get uncomfortable for this? Okay? If the answer is yes, then simply you make decision. Yes, I'm deciding I'm doing this. I may not know how. You see, you're putting how much money you have and everything. For this, you're putting it all aside. You're putting it all aside. You're self-empowering yourself to make powerful decision without looking at what money allows you or doesn't allow you to do, because that is holding ourselves prisoners to money, right? So given it's a yes, it can be no, so that's done, and you'll be at peace, yes, or it's a yes. So if it's a yes, then you'll continue with this process to break this I can't afford this pattern. And here you will do this. You will ask yourself either it's a reality that you cannot afford it, or is it masking some other fear within you? What I mean by that is, I know that our ego mind, I want it but I can't afford it, is just one of the quickest way how to I want it but I can't afford it, but there is actually, it masks other unconscious fears within ourselves. So you want to ask yourself, am I scared of something else? Or is the money truly the only reason? And you may find that there is something else. There is something else you might be afraid of. So I know, for instance, I remember one client, Kathy, I was on the call with her and she was considering coaching with me one-on-one. This was some while back. And as we were talking, she also said, but Lenka, I really want to coach with you. I want to work with you, but I cannot afford it. And I said, really? Is it really true? Or is it something deeper that you're afraid of? And she goes, yeah, I'm scared of that, that I lean into that success. I'm scared of that success. So we had a chat about it and just helped her through those fears about really leaning into bigger version of her. And she told me, thank you so much. This conversation itself was so worth it, because the previous coach I was considering, when I told him I can't afford it, he told me, okay, just come back when you can. And this was already, even before we started to work with her, already really powerful for her, because she broke through one of her other illusions, why she was afraid of her bigger version of herself. But it can be anything. One of the common limitations that I cannot afford is masking is that I'm scared that I will not make it work. In other words, this lack of self-trust. And that's, again, a massive limitation, not just in that situation there and there, but it's a massive energetic pattern that will follow us everywhere we go. If we don't learn ourselves to trust ourselves, trust our decisions, trust that everything will work out. If we don't learn that, then we're not going to get that as far as we want, for sure. So this is often when this hidden fear or energetic pattern comes up, you can be empowered to actually look at it as it is and tell yourself, you know what? I'm deciding differently now. I was doing it to myself until now, no more, and that's it. So hopefully you will get this point of this, to look at if there are not any other fears or limitations or patterns that the I cannot afford it was masking it. All right. And then let's say there was nothing, or you looked at that pattern that was holding you back and said, fine, I'm no longer going to be imprisoned with this pattern, and it's truly just about money, okay? So now that you decided I'm doing it, first and foremost, you've got to simply assume that solution for affording it is there. It exists. Listen, gentle reminder, you wouldn't be able to authentically desire something. You wouldn't be able to have some doors open in front of you if there wasn't a way for you to walk through it, if there was a solution. Desire, the seed of desire, carries all elements within it, including the solution how to pay for something. 100%. So that's what you want to assume first. And so you can ask yourself how, and sometimes you just know immediately. You know immediately how you can, say, put funds together. And sometimes you may not know immediately, but that's okay. Simply assume that solution is there. You decided, you powerfully decided, so the way is there. And you can go into connection with your desire. So imagine that you're already there, you're already benefiting, you're already growing, you're living your desire. Go there, and with that knowing, I know that the answer will come to me. It will come to you. This is almost miraculous process. However, it might also make you deeply uncomfortable, because the knowing of which you either already have the how, or you will have, that solution may not operate within your comfort zone. it probably will not operate within your comfort zone. So I'm going to give you a few examples. So when it came to me with my first coach, and I was making investment, and okay, I decide now I'm doing this. I immediately knew how. I immediately knew how to pay for it, even though technically I was broke AF. I knew immediately how, but it made me shiver with fear, because my how was to dig out a cut-out credit card that I essentially, long before that, I cut credit card, telling myself, never I will put myself in a debt. Debt is dirty, so I'm not going to use this credit card ever. And I cut it out and I put it away like it's some devil. And so I now realize that I knew that, hello, I've got funds available on my credit card, and I made it the devil. But say even successful entrepreneurs, many insanely successful entrepreneurs, is a common practice to fund the startups, to fund our development through borrowing. And it's literally here. So immediately, pretty quickly, I literally let go of that limiting belief or pattern that debt is dirty, that credit card is dirty. And I told myself, well, that's not told myself, I kind of sensed it. It was just immediate that is also a form of abundance of the universe. It's a solution. It's here to use it. So that's how I did it, but it took me outside of comfort zone, and initially made me shiver because it was going beyond what I told myself is the truth, you see? Another example I will forever remember it because it's so powerful. One of my dear clients shared with me how she got into my programs, how she overcame her own, I really desire this, I really desire energetic master, being led by you, etc., but I can't afford it. So the way she did it, she also went through form of this exercise, and she decided, I'm doing this. I just know there is a way, so I'm doing this. Decision is there. The how will come. I don't know how, but it will come because it already pre-exists. So she went into visualization, meditation, etc., or she got on, and immediately she knew. At some point, she immediately knew what she's going to ask, and her intuition told her, email or get in touch with 3 people, specific people, and ask to borrow money. And again, it made her so uncomfortable because she wasn't used to asking, let alone borrowing money. Okay, that was, again, she was making stories about it, how it makes her weaker, how she's not independent, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, because she trusted that was given to me, she called or emailed those 3 people, and from 2, she probably didn't even have reply or whatever, but from one of these people, the reply was that I cannot believe it, you're asking now because something magical happened. I came to a large sum of money like inheritance, and I was actually looking how to put it in good news that would benefit, some people I love. So I'm not only happy to borrow you this money, I'm really, really happy to give it to you. It will make me really happy. So she got it, my program, as a freaking gift. That made the giver very, very happy as well. Isn't this remarkable? This example struck in my mind because it just brings home the principle that when the woman, or man for that matter, but when you make a powerful decision, the way must appear. And it's through this that you will break, I want it, but I cannot afford it, belief. It's through this that you will start making the most powerful yes or no decisions and move in with your power more and more. You call in more abundance and more of who you are. Okay? So lastly, I'll leave you here with one little mantra that came through me as I was preparing for this. And this will support you in some way, I believe. So you might want to write it down. Just contemplate on this, okay? What I truly desire desires me. It's meant for me. And I claim it now. I'll repeat it again. What I truly desire desires me. It's meant for me. And I claim it now. That's who I am. Okay? Hopefully this has been helpful. It's been a longer video than usual, but I believe it can be, I don't know, let me know, was it triggering? Maybe. Did I challenge your limitations? Maybe, but I know it can truly break one of the most horrible limiting patterns out there. So put it to good use. So much love to you. Until next time. Bye-bye.